every morning that I've gotten up and like gone to work, I have wanted to like listen to morning tea on my way to work because I'm just like, what's going on? You know, what's happening? What is CLC and everybody else in Prague got to say about what's going on? You know, I want the tea. I need morning tea.
Good evening. Good evening for everyone. No one's hit past midnight just yet, so it's still evening for everyone. We got 2 days to recap. It's one of those rounds where not a ton's going on in the sense of it's very predictable. There's not a lot of movement in the round itself, but it's preparing for the next movements, which is super fun. It's like those chess moves where you're setting up for the big move, and that's kind of what we see this round. Is we see a lot of talk as to what is to come, given we lose a house target come the end of the round. But I'm joined by two lovely production members who typically don't make a ton of appearances because one lives on the West Coast and is not waking up because she doesn't go to work till 10 a.m. and the other one works far too much. It's Max, Teddy, and Tay.
Hey.
How are you all?
I'm unwell, honestly.
I know. Every eviction is just gonna keep hurting and hurting because it sucks. Because I think Luis's like video to be on this season and just like the passion that they had and like they're really wanting to like, you know, be taken more seriously as a player, and like I'm just like, it just hurts.
Yeah, it doesn't get any, like, this is how I kind of felt in 15 too. It's like we brought back we handcrafted this cast of returnees, cut people who wanted to be on, and then like it's still not fun to watch them have to leave one by one when they all so desperately want to stay in. So it sucks. It's never fun, but yeah. They're having fun. Well, most of them are. So, and I guess that's what matters at the end of the day.
They're having fun on a house call right now.
They are on a house call, kind of just chilling, and good on them. No, Josh, it's not a real house meeting. It's a fake house meeting.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Where we left off is Sarah was evicted unanimously.
Also rotted.
7-0, and I've already had my thoughts on that one. And you know what? Again, results-oriented eviction. They evicted Sarah and said we can win with Sarah gone. And you know what? They did. So good on them. I will give them that credit. Dancing Queens won the HOH without Sarah. Trying to think what it was. Oh yeah, Megan did well. So she did at least like prove herself. Hey. Oh, hi Keisha. Hi Hammond. I didn't say hi to anyone. Megan at least proved herself, because that was my big thing about the eviction, was like none of y'all considered how weak she's been in these challenges. And if Louise, who was up there, could have won it, had Louise won the HOH, they'd be sitting there scratching their heads being like, what went wrong? I don't know, evicting Sarah. That's what went wrong. But Megan proved herself and they got the win, so I will give them that credit. But kind of coming into this round, it's very cut and dry. It's Dancing Queens versus Phoenix. We've lost Erica and Sarah and the two auxiliary members of Dancing Queens, but it's 5v4. We start to see a little bit of these inroads kind of happening. Jabbar is definitely trying to have inroads. He has them with Trey and Liv. He's trying to rebuild it with Megan after just nominating her, which Megan is trying her best to like tell herself it's going to be okay. Because I mean, she's definitely between a rock and a hard place, because she's currently in an alliance of people that she actually trusts, but she's with the comp threats, and the other side wants to work with her, and she probably fares way better against them in competitions, but like she knows it's not the right time to jump ship yet. So like Megan and Jabbar,
Liv has told them about the advantage, and until it does not make sense to flip.
It just doesn't make sense to flip, but you can start seeing that people are entertaining the ideas of a new shakeup in the house. So Jabbar's entertaining it. You've got the BBH20 of it all. with 4 of them still in the house.
Crazy.
They
None
make
of them are gone.
50% of the house. They make up half of it.
It's crazy because those 4 didn't even work together really.
No.
And
We
didn't get
literally-
along coming into the game.
cast has said it. We picked the 4 people from 17 that trusted each other the least.
Yeah, we literally did. They came in side-eyeing each other. Lamont and Nikki, like Megan and Megs came in locked, but they were like, Nikki and Lamont, fuck no. And here they are, all still together. So that's really fun. You just got all of this like fun architecture of just kind of what's going to happen with the side v side. And what you got a little bit of side v side is that once a side loses, that side kind of starts to crumble because they have to turn on each other, and that's never fun. So Megan definitely is a little worried about what happens if Phoenix is to win this HOH. Like, where does she stand on the hierarchy of Dancing Queens? So she's entertaining this idea of a Jabbar, Megan, Michael, Trey group, but that gets put on the back burner because of the advantage of it all. You've also got a bunch of final twos happening in Dancing Queens in and of itself. You've got Trey and Liv. Michael is now making one with Megs. Michael truly thinks his actual final two is with Liv. So Dancing Queens is Megan and Trey have one. It's a hot
Logan
mess.
wants one with Michael.
Dancing Queens is
Michael
on top of the already inherent alliance split that is Caro's Revenge and Tasty. So Dancing Queens is all kind of jumbled up together. But let's get to Megs's HOH. She wins the memory countdown competition, and it's pretty clear off the bat she's targeting Jabbar. Jabbar just put her up on the block with no warning, so she's happy to repay the favor, and ultimately just trying to figure out who's going to sit next to Jabbar, because starting off the reign, which is not how we end her reign, is he is the target. She very much has the best working relationship with Lamont of the 4 people from Phoenix. So Lamont's not even an option on the table. It's between Louise and Nikki. It seems as though that Lamont's idea of this BBH17 foursome is helping Nikki a little bit here, on top of the fact that Louise is just such a huge house target. Like, all of Dancing Queens wants her gone. So Megs feels a little bit obligated to put up Louise in this instance, on top of the fact that she can still, while putting up Louise and Jabbar, can keep the 17 option open if that is to become a thing, even though she doesn't want it to become a thing, but leave it up on the table if you want it. So she basically just makes the rounds. I mean, she calls Liv, and Liv is like, put up Louise. She's the best competitor of the 3 on that side, other than Jabbar. So it ensures that at least one of them will stay up on the block come the end of the round. And this is where we get to the power of it all. Liv now knows that Jabbar is going to go up, and the only 2 people who know about the power as of right now are Trey and Jabbar. Trey knows the full truth. Jabbar knows that Liv has it, but is under... Liv has dropped plenty of hints to indicate that it's a golden key, which is one of the 7, 8, 6, whatever options on the menu. So it's not a direct lie. It's just an omission of truth. So she feels very nervous that Jabbar is going to just leak it. So Liv wants to get ahead of it. So she tells Megs, I have the power. And initially she claims that it's an extra veto, which again is part of the truth, just not the full truth. And Liv has her natural spiral, as Liv does. She's nervous that she didn't tell because now she has 2 different stories now. She's now told Jabbar it's a golden key. She's now told Megs it's a second veto. And she's panicking because she doesn't know like what to do now. But also she doesn't want to really use the golden key. And she's not even sure that the second veto is what she's ultimately going to pick anyway. So she's like, well, fuck, if I pick the co-HOH overthrow, now I've lied to everybody about it except Trey. So now she's panicking. She's like, what the fuck do I do now? I've told so many different stories. How do I repair this? And her idea is to just tell Dancing Queens is her mentality here. She she hops on call with Caro's Revenge first, which is Trey and Michael, but then hops on call with the whole fivesome and tells them most of the truth. It's like 89% of it, that there's a menu, that here are all the options, here's when it expires, but she does leave out one option on the board. She does not want to tell them about the steal a vote option that exists on the board. Ultimately, just in case if she holds it to the final 7 on live night, she wants to be able to have just that, just in case, in the back of her pocket, in case she might want it, or if there comes a vote even before live night that the vote is split and she really wants the outcome to go the way she wants, so she can keep that to herself. So she basically tells most of the truth to the group, which I don't mind at all. I don't think she's going to use that steal a vote anyway, so I don't think it's going to come out that she's a liar anyway. But thoughts on the live of it all and the power gate, or whatever you want to call it?
I think this was a good move by her because, well, I don't know, maybe not great, but I think it's good for her to get ahead of it because Jabbar was going to throw anything out that he could.
Absolutely.
The downside is that probably this Dancing Queens group would have crumbled like this next round, in which case she would have seen like where she laid in the group next round and would have probably had to use the advantage next round, but she would have known like where everyone stood with her. And now this isn't going to happen. It's like they're going to get through live night like holding hands, kumbaya, because they basically did that. As soon as they found out about the advantage, they're like, now we're going to play games. Like, we have all the power.
It solidified them for the foreseeable future. Obviously, I think this will end at live night. I think once we begin live night, the gloves are off. Assuming we lose, I mean, we obviously already lost Louise, but assuming we lose Nikki next round, which I think is the prime target for this group. So if they come in 5 strong with just Jabbar and Lamont as exterior, I think we have a whole new architecture and new targets, new shakeups at live night. So, yeah,
but Liv can still use the advantage at live night.
She can. And she was very honest about that, which I think has certain people a little scared about it. But it also, I mean, the power of being, it's the power of knowledge, but also, I mean, she struck fear into this group. They know she has a co-HOH overthrow. So they can't really try and work too hard to try and thwart her until she uses it. Because even if, let's say, you win HOH and you want to take a shot at her, but you can't even initially nominate her because she has a second veto. Like, you can't touch her as long as she has it. Like, she has struck fear into them to the point where Megan was like, I actually wanted to flip sides, but I can't do that right now with the advantage currently still in the game. So, I mean, she struck fear into them, and I don't think anyone even wants to take a shot at her because she's got the advantages.
Yeah. And that's the benefit of telling people, is that they know and they don't want to take the shot. Because if she had not told them, then people could have gotten greedy and like taken the shot prematurely, and she would have had to burn it. So
yeah, I mean, cons are she's just painting a big old fucking target on her back. It is just getting bigger and bigger by the day. So I do fear for, I mean, luckily she's going to get herself to a point where she'll play in pretty much everything. But I am very fearful for the end stretch where she's going to have to win at least a comp round to make it to that point. But who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Because her and Meg seem to have a pretty good understanding with each other and Liv doesn't want to target Megs until top 5 at the earliest. Michael is saying his person is Liv, so maybe she has enough resources to be fine, but I am very nervous that she's so clearly the front runner.
Yeah.
You got to take her out at some point. But so pros and cons, but the pros is I think she's gonna get herself to live night. I mean, she definitely will. She's got the power. She can get herself to live night, but even if her side wins it, her side is not going to take the shot because
and the Dancing Queens, it's funny because they keep being like, I don't think they even know like that we're all. I'm like, it's literally so obvious. And then Nikki was like, it doesn't make sense why Megs wouldn't nominate Liv.
Yeah.
Like, and was talking about like people thinking Liv had the power, and Nikki was like, but wouldn't you want to burn the power? Like, you might as well try to nominate her. So like people, they're not dumb. They're putting it all together.
Exactly. Like, they don't know that it's a formal alliance, but Phoenix is fully aware that the other 5 of them have some sort of some kind of web of deals with each other. If it's an alliance, if it's not an alliance, but there is some unified mission against the 4 of them. They're not dumb. They see through it. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion during Meg's HOH about how they handle certain conversations to try and not leak the fact that they're all together, which is weird coming from a group who's playing BGA together when that is public information. Literally, if anyone goes to any of their profiles and looks at games played, they will see 5-person games with all of them for hours on end. And I'm like, I wonder how that happened. So it's just a strange concept from a group that clearly isn't really dotting their I's and crossing their T's when it comes to protecting the anonymity that the group exists when you're doing things that are so clearly tied back to y'all. But whatever. It's just weird. But Dancing Queens is elated to finally have power again. They have not won in the last 2 rounds, so they feel kind of ecstatic and are happy to be living in the moment. And it's pretty evident from the jump. We're getting Louise and Jabbar nominations. They do their best to try and get themselves off the block. Louise is trying to. I mean, Louise's pitch is pretty much the same throughout, even into her eviction campaign, which is, everyone dislikes me. Everyone's going to put me up. Everyone wants me out. I'm someone you can survive the block against. I'm someone who's constantly going to get put up. And I am good at challenges, so I can prove myself and actually give you safety. There are people who I know don't want to work with me. There are certain people I know don't want to work with me. And Megs, if you give me grace here, I promise to show it to you in the future. And that's the same that goes for the voters during the campaign. Like, if you give me grace here, I promise I will show it to you, because I have plenty of targets to go after in this game. So if I can just get a few of you to help me out here, then the rest of them are in hot water with me. So that's Louisa's campaign to Megs. It's not working. And then
it's a little too late in my opinion, for you to be like, well, you'll stay on the block against me, because we're getting it so far into the game. Like, a couple rounds ago, that was a good pitch, but now it's like, well, will I really? People want to take you to the end because they think they can beat you. So like,
we've reached the point now where it's like that gray area of, a couple rounds ago it was eat all the targets, get rid of them, but now it's like, maybe there's a benefit to the target staying. And now it was discussed. I mean, it's Jabbar's whole mentality right now is he wanted to keep Louise in because he knew he could survive the block against Louise. Check. He did that literally an hour ago. And now he, despite being nominated by Megs, is wanting to work with her along with Liv, because he knows that those two are the biggest threats to win the game. So as long as I continue with them, they'd be dumb to not evict them over me. So we've reached that point of the game where some players are using other players' targets to their advantage. So like, while I agree with Louise's pitch, yes, you most likely go home with Louise goes home against pretty much everybody. But we're starting to reach that point where people are starting to turn around on, is being a big target maybe a good thing? To keep around for just a little bit longer. So, but that's Jabbar's big pitch, is that he thinks if Jabbar leaves, then Megs is the next one to go, and that she should also be harnessing the target strategy. And Jabbar promises, as long as he's here, that he's going to get her through Live Night. If he can survive this round, he promises to get her through Live Night. So Those are their pitches. It doesn't really work just because Megs has a mission. Megs knows what she wants. She heard people out, and she said, nope, I'm going to stick with what I want, which work. Like, you're at that stage of the game where there's not a lot of wiggle room left. When people know what they want, they know what they want. We're at the final 9. You got to we're so close to the end. You have to know what kind of pecking order you decently want to see. You have to know roughly in these couple rounds, I want to see these people leave. So like we're at that point where people know. But that's what makes Big Brother so interesting is there's always a couple little blips on that where things change up a little bit. So and that's coming very, very soon. So, but coming out of day 26, Louise and Jabbar are the nominations. It seems very shockingly clear that Jabbar will have the votes to stay. Liv and Trey have already discussed saving Jabbar, as has Megan. And Michael as well has said that despite him, Kitty, can we not go away? Despite him at one point saying Louise was his number 1, he ultimately cannot look past the fact that he believes Louise did in fact evict him on live night. And Jabbar was very quick to campaign for him to stay. So he has 4 votes locked up. It doesn't really matter where Lamont and Nikki stand, nor does it really matter where Megs actually wants, despite her having the tiebreaker vote. Initially, she wanted to send out Jabbar, but by the end of day 27, that tune has changed. Nikki wants to save Louise. They go back 4 years, 3 years at this point. They just have a good connection, and it's one of Nikki's strongest connections is Louise. And Lamont is a little torn. They're literally his top 2 allies in the game, so neither is really a good outcome for him. But ultimately, he seems to actually be leaning towards saving Louise and evicting Jabbar just because the prior round, Jabbar was unwilling to put up Liv, despite Lamont begging him to. So that seems to be weighing on his mind that he would rather have Louise, who also was of the mind to nominate Liv. So Lamont is seeing more alignment in the path forward with Louise and would like her to stay. So it seems as though Jabbar is going to stay 4-2 before we get to the veto, which let's get to it because I want y'all's thoughts because I was a little perturbed today. I was shocked at how much this cast thinks that Louise is a bigger threat to win than Jabbar. Like, it was not even a consideration that Jabbar is the bigger threat and should go here. It was never discussed in Dancing Queens, not brought up even once. In fact, multiple people today had said Louise is the bigger threat. She needs to go. I humbly disagree, but I want your thoughts.
I think, like, to me, that's not real. And people are saying that, like, as an excuse and for other things that they actually care about. Like, Megan and Luis never really had a good relationship. Like, Luis never even called Megan before the Rizzo vote, and that was, like, a big point of note for Megan. And so now when Luis is pitching to Megan and making promises and whatever, it's like Megan kept saying, but why? Like, why? Like, what? Why? And Jabbar has really put in work with the other side of the house throughout. And I said this in the VL, but I think that was a great HOH for Jabbar. Like, he got so much information. The only reason Liv had to tell everyone in the house about her advantage is because Jabbar pulled it out of her, like, enough that he knew that she had something. And I mean, if they really believe that Luis is a bigger threat to win the game and that's why she has to go, like, that doesn't make any sense because Jabbar is clearly the bigger threat to win the game. But I think maybe it's more of like Luis has a path to the end that they can see and they think they're going to get Jabbar out before the final two. So it doesn't even matter if he can beat them or not because he's not going to get there.
Yeah, likely not. Yeah, he likely will not be making it there. Max, thoughts?
I think for some of the cast, it was a strategic decision, like Tay said, but we're also talking about this, I think, in our project earlier. It's like this cast is very social heavy, and the relationships, I think, mean a lot to people like Michael, especially. And so Jabbar did really put in the work, and Louise kind of went into hibernation after all of those like really confusing votes, and that left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So like, even if you're looking at this from a chess perspective and you're like, Louise can stay, like should stay for my game, like how do you look at the person Louise and save her when she has just like not really like behaved in a like a way that like you would want your ally to behave, because like people are still looking for people that they can count on to have a vote, when one vote can change the entire outcome. And so people, I think, at least view Jabbar as somebody that they can reason with, and see that they can like, if they can just like talk with and will be available, I guess. So I think that was part of it too.
That's what's so frustrating. That's what's so frustrating is they all think that they have Jabbar, and that's what's like so infuriating to. I mean, great on Jabbar. I'm very impressed, but it's so infuriating because everyone is in their project being like, "Oh, well, when the shakeup happens, I'll have Jabbar on my side." Babes, you all think that. You all think that. So some of you are wrong, and you're wrong for saving him here because you think you know what he's going to do, and he's not going to choose you. He's just not. And it's so frustrating because I would dare I say 4 of these people who evicted Louise tonight are going to regret this decision. Like, there's no reason he should be staying. And that's Nikki, Trey, Michael, and Megan. He's not choosing y'all. He just is not. And at least not initially. Like, y'all
but they didn't choose him either. Like, I mean, he's done a great job working himself back in there, but Megan jumped ship ages ago. Trey, like that split house with Trey, like their relationship in the game has been dissolved.
Yeah, he owes them nothing. So it's shocking they're so willing to think that Jabbar's just going to forgive and come back with them. Especially, and this is going to sound mean, I don't mean it to be mean, some of y'all got nothing to offer outside of your vote.
And that's what Jabbar sees.
And
Jabbar
that's what
said, I want to align with the comp beasts because his side of the house, they're not winning the comp when he's not HOH or when he's outgoing HOH. Like he was like, I saw the scores.
And he's self-aware enough to know exactly what we're saying is that he should have left here. I think he knows that. And he's like, this is the first time he's ever survived the block. And so he absolutely knows to keep Liv and Megs, who will be targeted ahead of him. And that's what makes him such a good game player. And that's the only way a player of his caliber has a shot at surviving this portion of the game, where always 9th, 8th, 7th, the threats get clipped. And so if they're all working together and they're winning and they agree to keep each other safe, then that's how they get to the end. Otherwise, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, very, very impressed. But yeah, I think, the big catalyst for him is as outgoing HOH, you need your side to continue to win. And then you have Lamont and you've got Lamont being so hyped up to an HOH. Trey was promising him safety coming into this HOH as well. And he's like, I'm hyped up to win. And then collectively memorize 35 symbols in a collective 30 minutes for an average of a symbol a minute, basically. And that was like the wake-up call for Jabbar being like, why am I aligned with these fools? They can't win shit. Like, this is like, they're not going to keep me safe. So he's seeking out better people. And that's why I'm like, Michael, Megan, Trey, you're over here thinking Jabbar's going to choose you. Why is he going to choose you, babes? You can't win anything. At least not now. At least you haven't. Between the 3 of you, you've won a challenge. Why would he choose any of you? He needs safety. He wants protection, and you can't provide that. So it's just strange that there's a lot of people thinking that Jabbar is going to choose them when the live night shakeup happens. And I'm like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it, because I don't believe it.
I think we're also seeing dividends of like Jabbar being honest about how he voted throughout the game, like, and Luis not doing that, and people knowing that like Luis will tell me 3 hours before the vote they're voting one way, and then actually vote the other way, and then lie, and then like people, you need, your vote is so important now, especially in these later rounds, that like at least with Jabbar, he'll tell you where his vote is going before the vote, you know, so you're not talking to someone for hours and then they're lying to you anyway.
No, I mean, ultimately, Louise's eviction is built on the foundation that as much as the pre-jury is so it's so just like it gets no recognition in a final jury questioning that goes for Survivor and Big Brother. It is just not the focus of the jury questioning, but the foundation of what you establish there is so important. And it's why Louise goes out here. Louise has no foundation with these people. She, after all 3 votes that people heavily questioned where she actually stood, she was MIA the next day for whatever reason. Life, she wasn't ghosting these people. She had a plethora of reasons. But from their perspective, they're like, so you just pissed off half the house and you lied about your vote, and now you're not around to own your actions. And now here everyone's getting different stories of, oh, she saved Rizzo, but she evicted Erica. No, I heard the opposite. Like, there's so many stories, and there's just no belief in her. And yeah, it's the lack of foundation. I mean, Megan has no relationship with her. Trey thinks that she evicted him. Her and Michael have been strained since Live Night. Like, as much as I want to sit here and be like, y'all are clowns for not evicting Jabbar, and I still will say that, had Louise had slightly even a better sense of a foundation with these people, it would have been way easier for them to think about it that way. But when they have nothing to stand on with her, it's hard for them to go past that social level to even think strategic, as we've talked about. So a bit unfortunate there for her, but consequences of your own actions. If you're going to be a villain, you have to be able to take the consequences of being a villain. And I just don't think she handled the execution well, because every vote she made sense strategically. I get why she saved Liv. I get why she saved Lamont. I get why she saved Erica. I get all those reasons. It's the follow through. It's the, why did I do this? Let me damage control for what I've done. And that's the bad execution part. Everything else,
it's giving like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, like
not Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Like, yes, you're a villain, but it's a very bumbling villain, and all of your plans get foiled in some way by Perry the Platypus. Except Perry the Platypus is your own lies. I don't know.
Yeah, she definitely, and that's what's unfortunate is and we saw it today on the live call, which we'll get to, where she really just all of the emotions of and it's not name calling. I don't want to call it name calling, but kind of is name calling. People calling her a liar and impulsive and emotional, that really took, like, we saw all the toll it took on her the entire game, and it coming out in her call with Liv. And it's unfortunate because every decision she made had rationale behind it. It just, how it came out and how it was perceived by others was impulsive. And she was a liar. And I know in her heart, she knows that she's not any of those things. I mean, she knows she's a liar. She lied plenty of this game. Like, how people took those votes, people took them in a way that wasn't fully the truth of what happened from Louise's perspective. And it really weighed on her. But ultimately, like, perception's reality in these types of games. Yeah. It's unfortunate that how those votes went down and how she handled the aftermath just wasn't strong enough at the end of the day. But
but it's also the before math too, because
also that
even though you saved Liv, you got on that call with Liv like, I was really going to vote you out like 30 minutes ago, and I decided right now to save you. Like, why would I trust that you're going to save me again later if that's how you're saving me in this very pivotal tie vote?
Agreed. Yeah, it's just small mistakes here and there. It's just small little mistakes that add up to just a mountain of reasons to evict her tonight. So
Louise just needed a publicist. She needed a PR rep for this season to do the public messaging for her moves.
Literally that. Literally that could have completely radically changed her game.
Yeah.
But let's get to the POV. Liv crushes the puzzle trifecta veto, wins it. Pretty.
Wasn't even like
It wasn't that close.
It wasn't that close, and also Liv could have done it faster. Like,
and she struggled in the middle challenge. Like, she definitely overthought it a lot.
And I don't know.
Jabbar beat her in the other two sections, but fucked up the middle one. Like, for two very smart individuals, overthought a very simple puzzle. Like the thermometer is not, like, it's not the easiest puzzle in the world, but it's not difficult.
Right.
You just saw them overthinking it. Classic Liv, classic Jabbar, but Liv still crushes everyone by 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And her time was 7.5. So, like, that tells you how much she absolutely crushed everyone by. It's a lot. And Liv at this point is trying to figure out how she can send out Louise without pissing off too many people, because she obviously has this under the radar relationship with Jabbar, who obviously is going to want him or her to use it on him. But she also wants Louise to leave, but not piss off Megs and Dancing Queen. So she kind of does like the groundwork first. Megs has now completely changed her mentality, and this is because of a call that Megs and Jabbar had during the day, where Jabbar's like, "You and Liv, I got you." Like, and he basically is like, "I wanted Louise in this game because she was a shield for me. And if she goes tonight and I stay, y'all are my new shields, and I'm not going to deny that or hide that. And therefore, I'm not going to come after you, and you should understand that I'm not going to do that." And Megs and Liv get that, and they're like, "He's not going to come after us. He'd be dumb to, at least in the near future. Once you hit 6, 5, 4, at that point, everything's off the table." Yep. But in the next couple of rounds, they know Jabbar's not coming after them. He'll get them through Live Night to the best of his ability. So she's completely changed her tune and would like Jabbar actually to stay. All of Dancing Queens would also like Jabbar to stay, to the point of they all think that they have a relationship with him and think that they can move something forward with him, and they just don't feel the same way about Louise. So now so she's kind of established her plan, which is her fake story, because Liv and Megs are still in this mentality they have to hide their relationship when everyone knows. Everyone knows. I mean, Dancing Queen knows because they're together. And then the other side is like, Megs, you literally won and you didn't target Liv.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
first HOH you did, your second HOH, you told her you would, so she had to use her golden key. What's changed? Like,
one of these things is not like the other.
Like, come on. Like, they're not dumb. But the story is that Liv is going to pretend that she's worried that if she uses the veto, that Megs will nominate someone that she trusts in retaliation, like Trey. This also feeds into the storyline that Megs had told on day 26, when she had told Jabbar and Louise that they were going up and they were asking about renoms. She used Liv as the fake name. So it's feeding all into the storyline that they have still slight distrust towards one another. But that's the story they're going with. Now let's get to the Liv and Louise call. This was such a sad one. I'm not sure if we streamed this one. I don't know if we did, but all of us were on it. It was just sad. It's never fun watching someone who so badly wants to be here fight so hard and feel so unheard in the moment. Again, I'm not saying that Liv needed to like validate everything Louise was saying, but Liv was validating near nothing that Louise was saying. And you can just see Louise just crumble on the call. Like, she's nothing at the end of the call, because she knows she's going home. She wants to be here so bad. She's got so much going on in her personal life. This has been such a great distraction for her. So it's just really sad watching this call. But Louise is sticking to her story of, I'm a target ahead of you. It's too early to be taking out someone like me. It's not even anti-Jabbar. It's like, you need Jabbar, me, and Megs, and this is to Liv. She's like, us four need to be together. Because if we start taking shots at one another, these middle players are just going to allow us to go out one after the other, and then all the middle players make up the end game. It's too early. We need more of us to exist into 8, into 7. So we have more numbers where the targets outnumber the middle players to at least allow one of us who's a huge target to be able to sit in the final two is her big argument. Louise is like, you beat me at the end, and I promise I'm not coming for you, and I have no reason to come for you because of the same argument Jabbar's making. I have no reason to take out a target and a threat level like you, because Louise is thinking we're reaching the point of the game where I actually might be able to stay against you. Like, it's actually like getting to that point where people, if Liv's on the block, I mean, I said that about Jabbar and they didn't do it, but like, you have someone like Liv on the block, you have to take the shot.
You have to.
You have to. But again, I said that about Jabbar and they didn't do it. So, you know, who knows what this cast actually wants.
I do think it's different with Jabbar because the Dancing Queens have all the power until after live night. So, like, if they really wanted to get Jabbar out next round, they could just do it no matter who wins HOH. So it's like,
and they fucking should. And if they don't, if they target Nikki next, if they win again and they target Nikki, girl, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. If y'all do not take out someone of a caliber as Jabbar. But again, Nikki has no foundation with anyone. So again, it's literally the exact same situation that we have this round where Nikki has no foot to stand on. So
be right back.
But so all that fun stuff. But this call is basically Louise pitching her heart out and Liv saying that she is too fearful of ruining her relationships in this game by saving either of them, but specifically Louise, considering all of her allies want Louise to go. And this is kind of the turning point in the call where it's gone from strictly pitching to now we're now coming into kind of the emotions of it, because Louise is recognizing, okay, none of my strategy is resonating. Let's appeal. No logos. Let's try ethos now. Let's try to appeal to the ethical or the emotions, how you're feeling, what I've done for you in this game, versus the logic of keeping me. And this is where Louise is like, don't, like, no matter what place you get, if you get 7th or 8th, or if you win the whole fucking game, Liv, don't you fucking forget that I'm the only reason you're still here. Don't you ever forget that. And I felt that. I felt that from many, many, many miles away. I was like, fuck. Like, and again, I know it's such a cheap shot to be like, I saved you a couple rounds ago, but like, it was a 5-5 vote where your number one ally had to break the tie to save you, Liv. Like, it's a strong fucking statement. And to like still look Louise in the eyes and be like, I understand that, but you need to go, is also good.
Louise does get credit for that, but also it's kind of a little bit of a straw man because Louise just happened to be the one that was on the fence, and like then it made it the deciding vote. Like 4 other people also had a hand in that, and the HOH. And so I'm just like, you get like 20% credit.
No, fair. I mean, and that's, I mean, again, we to Tay's point, like when you got on call and told Liv you were saving her, you definitely alluded to the fact that you were
right.
So I mean, it doesn't resonate that much, but Louise definitely at this point is just like, I saved you. I'm the reason you're still here. So don't forget that. If you go on to win the season, do not forget what I did for you. And then pulls out the rumor card, because all these rumors have been going around about how Louise is a liar and she's impulsive and she's emotional, and all these things are being, hurled her way, not even at her, through Jabbar, through Lamont, through Nikki. She's not even being told this to her face. She's being told it through her allies who have to tell her. And Louise just like has this moment of like, she's like, I know you've called me a liar. You've called me impulsive, but don't forget that my impulsivity saved you. Like, you want to call me a terrible ally and you can't trust me for all these reasons, but literally all the reasons you're shitting on me are the only reasons you're here. And it just gets to that point where they like, because they deeply love each other outside of this. They're one of the few like 16 connections that actually like was strong postseason. A lot of 16 left on not the best of terms, but they were one of the few that never had issues with one another. And in a final attempt, Louise doesn't have the best reads on the game. I think she obviously doesn't know about Dancing Queen. She obviously doesn't know that Liv has a deep-rooted connection with Megs now. She doesn't know about the underlying relationship with Jabbar, or the final two with Trey. She doesn't know about any of this. So obviously Louise is pitching the fact of like the architecture of this game is going to change very, very soon, and no one's going to owe you shit anymore. And you're the front runner to win, and everyone wants to win. So they're going to say, fuck whatever I promised you, you got to go. And Louise is like, as long as I'm here, they're going to keep you in, because these people want nothing more than or nothing less than for me to win the game. So like, as long as I'm here, they're not going to allow for any opportunity for that to happen. And that's her final pitch to try and stay. It doesn't work though. Liv is very much stuck in what she wants to do. She's confident in what she wants to do. And it's just a hard call to see friends on call like that and have such an emotional call where it gets to the point of someone saying that they're sorry and the person on the other end goes, I don't think you are. I really just don't think you are sorry, because if you were, you wouldn't be doing this. Like,
it's really, I empathize with Liv a lot, because I've been in this situation before where I'm like evicting somebody and I want to tell them why. I want to like lay out my whole game, but until they're actually out, I can't.
Yeah.
And it feels so terrible. It's just like, you have to believe that this is what's best for me.
Hard. I mean, that's what Liv literally said. She's like, I will send you a message as soon as you are out, and this will all make sense. And Louise is like, I don't think it will. And Liv's like, please just believe me when I say that this makes sense for me to do this. And it's so hard because, yeah, like she doesn't want to expose anything. Right. It's a very difficult and hard call to have to be in that situation of like having to talk vague to your friend who has done so much for you that you have to get rid of, and you know you're sending them to their grave. It's not even like Louise had a shot.
Yeah.
Like you not using it dooms her. It's not easy.
And we just saw last round Megs telling Sarah, like, you know, Megs was basically saying that she was going to vote Sarah out, and said like, oh, don't worry though, there's like a coalition formed to get Lamont and Jabbar out. And what did Sarah do? She said, okay, let me go tell Nikki about that, because why wouldn't you do that? You have to if you're fighting for your life in the game.
Yep. Gotta do whatever you can. So I get it. So the vote's simple. All of Dancing Queens is stuck on Jabbar. Nikki wants to save Louise, but Louise gives her the final, like in the final moments, like don't do it. It's not worth it. Like, I don't have the votes. Like, love you much, but don't do it. Lamont also wants to save Louise for the reasons we've discussed prior. And Lamont kind of lets this out a little bit. He talks to Megan about forming a formal BBH20 alliance because they actually control the vote, with 3 of them voting and Megs being the tiebreaker. And that's where he kind of slips that he wants Louise to stay. Megan has told Trey, and I fully imagine she will tell Jabbar very soon. But it's locked up. I mean, I'm still not sure that this vote was good for everyone. I really don't think it is. Obviously, they don't know that Jabbar's not going to choose them, but I don't know. I feel like some red flags would have gone up when everyone is so willing to save Jabbar that you would have to start. Is everyone good with Jabbar? Like, or why is this vote actually anti-Louise, or is it pro-Jabbar? And it seemed to start out anti-Louise, but ended up truly being pro-Jabbar. And I wish more people would have sat back and been like, everyone's so quick to save Jabbar here. I wonder if he has been cutting deals or making people feel good. So
it's rare when a unanimous vote is good for everybody.
It's never.
It's really never. Big Brother is pretty like much a zero-sum game. Yeah. So like somebody's benefit is the other person's downfall. And like, yeah, it can't be good for all 6 of them.
Yeah. And some of them will learn that the hard way. I just was very intrigued by a lot of the conversations that have happened recently in terms of the last couple of votes we've had, you have the Preston vote, the Caro vote, the Erica vote, the Sarah vote, and even this vote in relation to Louise, where the conversation is, we won't get another opportunity to take them out. Like Preston, you took him out twice, but still both, like, he never survived the block. Erica never survived the block, nor did Sarah or Caro or Louise. And it's so strange that narrative was existing. But again, not once did anyone think we won't have a shot to take Jabbar out. And I'm like, with how things are shaking out, you might not have another shot to take out Jabbar. You might not. And it was very strange to see people, like, that was Sarah's biggest detriment to her campaign. Like, no one really considered her campaign because they're like, we won't get another shot to get rid of you. You're too good at challenges. But no one once thought, well, we have another shot to take out Jabbar. They're like, Louise is so good at challenges. I'm like, yeah, Louise is all in her one comp win. And Jabbar's got 2. Sure, 2, but like more than 1. That's math. I was just very intrigued by all of the narratives.
More than 1. That's math.
That's math. Like, I hate to break it to people, but 2 is in fact double 1. I just was very intrigued. And again, it might be people just wanting to save Jabbar and they're trying to create any narrative to other voters. But hearing it in Dancing Queens, it's like, you all are united. You don't need to like put on this ruse as to why we're saving Jabbar. Just say you want to save Jabbar. Like, they're your allies and everyone wants to save Jabbar. So like, you don't need to create like narratives, true or false. It was just very strange. I'm like, Jabbar is far too good of a player for y'all not to be considering the opposite side of this.
It's crazy.
It's very freaky and crazy, but like, all props to him. He has done it. The miss. But I
don't even think he needs to win this next age. Like, I don't even think he should try to win this next age.
No.
Who's he going to nominate? No,
literally. He doesn't need to win. As long as Nikki does not win the HOH, or as long as Nikki, assuming they win the HOH, as long as Nikki doesn't win the veto, she's gone. She's toast.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of them might even eat Lamont over Jabbar at this point. Jabbar and Lamont kind of teeter for who's atop that group with Dancing Queens. So who the hell is to know? But as we look to the future, we still got Dancing Queens all still together, united by Liv's advantage, likely still sticking together for at least one more boot before Live Night kind of shakes it all up. Megan and Trey were just discussing getting rid of Megs and Liv as soon as they could, but not until Live Night started.
Well, I hope they win something.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a lot of talk from people who've yet to win a single competition. Like, that's what's... I know Lee loves to clown people who do that, but at this point, I'm like reaching the point of a lot of words for people who have not won anything. Specifically, Trey, who's not come close to winning also anything. Like, at least Megan has been close a few times. But I'm like, a lot of words for someone who hasn't won anything. So I still think it's Dancing Queens versus the 3 remaining members of Phoenix. We do have potentials of this BBH17 group, which I don't think will be real, even if it is formed, unless it's out of convenience. And we also have these random inroads that Jabbar is creating, that something will be formed. Something will be formed. It's just a question of how real will it be to Jabbar. Obviously, I think his priority is Megs and Liv for the foreseeable future, but who knows once he pivots back towards the middle players, like who he actually is going to pick. Is it going to be Michael? Is it going to be Megan? Is it going to be Trey? I don't know who he actually will pick because they're all just disposable to him. Like, Jabbar's been a villain this whole season. He does not care who goes as long as it's not him. So that's
Black Coffee called while we were doing tea.
Oh.
Wait,
Our Black Coffee called.
wow, that is.
They had a call earlier tonight where they were like, "Well, I know we haven't talked in Black Coffee, but now we're like a third of the people left in the game or whatever."
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they had not talked for how many days before this?
It's been, I think it was only 4 or 5 days, but like that's like 2 rounds.
It
So
feels
that's like a lot.
a long time.
It's a long time to not have been talking to anyone. So it's only been, hasn't been that many days, but in Big Brother Hometowns days. That's
No,
like
they haven't talked in a week.
a week. Okay.
Yeah, but and it
Even
really
more.
all they've been saying is like good morning. There's just nothing. So like even before that.
And I was gonna say, I was like, that split house might have affected it. I was like, nope, they were all together in the split house and they still didn't talk. Interesting, very, very interesting. But super excited. Before we go, we have to do next out and winner picks. My next out's Nikki. I think she's target number one. And it's unfortunate. I don't want to lose a draft pick, but I'm hoping she can somehow win this HOH, even though this HOH is not in her wheelhouse. But rooting for it anyway, like a Nikki HOH or a Lamont HOH would be iconic. I mean, even Jabbar, like I don't even know what Jabbar does. Like, is Jabbar clown enough to nominate Nikki? I don't know.
I could lucky see. I feel like to win this comp, you have to have a little bit of like just loopiness in you, and I'm like
every person said, "I can't do this comp. I'm gonna throw up."
I think Michael has just enough in him to where he could thrive. Like I feel like Michael could spin around a lot and not get dizzy.
No, it's fine.
As long as he doesn't. I know, Carl, you said use your microwave. As long as he doesn't use his microwave to time himself.
I beg he learned the timer feature.
Microwave.
Please, God help us.
We've already killed one.
Yeah, we truly have already killed one microwave, but yeah, I think Nikki's going out. My winner. I don't know. I'm gonna think on it.
Next out is, oh gosh.
I mean, it's HOH dependent as they
all
are.
Yeah, it just depends on HOH.
Yeah, now that I thought about it, I think, oh no, for sure it's gonna be Nikki unless she wins, because Liv might just co-HOH overtake if Lamont wins. She might just overtake it.
She will.
Yeah, if Lamont wins, she's overtaking it, and Nikki's going up.
Yeah.
But
if Nikki wins, well, then she might overtake and just nominate Lamont.
Okay, so then just for contrarian purposes, I'll say Lamont's the next to go.
Yeah, I forgot she can overtake it. Yeah.
Winner pick is, I could see it being Megs, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna pick Liv. I think Liv and Nikki are two of the strongest end game players in terms of game trivia information. And if Nikki is to go here at 8, I don't see anyone beating Liv in any of the game trivia challenges. I just don't. And that is,
does Liv make it there? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, game trivia I don't think starts until 6. I think is the earliest we have it. So actually it might be 7. Oh no, it is 7. It's live night.
Oh.
I was like, wait a minute. Actually, I think it's live night. So starting at 7, I think every round has at least a competition that has some type of game information in it. So she's really hard to beat in those type of challenges, especially when you look at, you've got Trey, Megan, and Michael who've never made it this far. And aren't necessarily the most prepared notes wise. Like Liv's gonna be hard to beat down the stretch.
Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna be hard to beat.
It would have to be a combination of like Liv is outgoing HOH, doesn't win HOH, and then the veto isn't game trivia, and then she just can't win or something like that. I don't know.
But yeah, it's hard.
I mean, people make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I mean, she lost part 2 in 16, which was game trivia. She lost it, so she's not perfect.
My prediction is Jabbar is going to win. I think it's going to be hit on Nikki, hit on Lamont, and then Dancing Queens is going to crumble, and Jabbar is going to be away from the crossfire and make it far enough. I do think it's dependent on Liv leaving, like, if not at live night, like right after live night.
Yeah.
But that's dependent on anyone in the game making it farther than Liv.
No, I think Jabbar is also a great pick. Yeah, Yeah, I think Jabbar, Megs, Liv, pick your poison right now of those three. I'm really impressed with all three of them. Not to say that Trey or Michael or Megan or Nikki or Lamont can't win. I want to see some comp wins, though. Like, Big Brother comes down to comp wins, and right now, none of them have given me the faith to give me that they're going to outpace Megs or Liv at this point in time. So we'll have to see. We have a fun end game. I'm really excited to see how this end game shakes out because
the game has been so fun, like
dynamic.
Yeah, and fluid, and people like listening and hearing other people out, and that's even fun. The chaos and the lies have been fun. Like Luis's entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, personified for sure.
Lovely human. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go. I feel like every round there's some new inroad created of a new group that may or may not form. So I've got no idea what's going to happen. Super excited to see HOH winner if Liv has to use her advantage or if she's somehow able to carry it into live night, which would be, I mean, if she carries it into live night, she's guaranteed top 6. She'll just use the second veto and she's guaranteed. She's guaranteed top 6. Yep. So if she's able to retain it,
I want Liv to have to use the advantage before live night so badly. Like Dancing Queens, I love you all, but watching you all have the numbers on your side and have this advantage and guaranteeing you like the next 2 to 3 rounds or 2 to 3 rounds before this, like it's just I'm just like it doesn't excite me. I want adversity, and I know you feel like you felt adversity, but you haven't really. So.
Well, they haven't because the last 2 boots were not in their alliance.
Yeah. You voted for them too.
The last 3 boots have not been in their alliance.
And then they acted as if like, oh my God, we haven't had power this whole time. I'm like,
literally. Yeah, so I'm super excited. Stick with us. This weekend is going to be hectic. So we have HOH Crown tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, nominations around 10:30, and then they do an entire veto ceremony eviction. We'll read the eviction votes either right before live night or at the very beginning of live night to send out 8th place, and then all around a Big Brother at live night to send out 7th place.
Sunday's going to be a trip.
Sunday is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot going on. I mean, as much as I'm not rooting for Nikki's downfall, Nikki being on the block and going home on Sunday might be the best thing for them because that's going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No one's going to be questioning anything, so they at least can rest coming into live night. But if the nomination set is wacky and ridiculous on top of live night, God help everybody. They're all going to need a long break. So stick with us. It's going to be a hectic weekend. And then 8 days from now, literally a little less than 8 days from now. Nope, 9 days. That's hard. Math's hard. A little less than 9 days from now, we crown a winner.
That's crazy.
BBH20 will have a winner, a new person entering the Winners at War arena. Super excited to see
a new final 2 for me. I'm just
Max is already getting his alliances in order. Just kidding.
I am.
But any final thoughts before we peace on out and I go back to actually eating dinner?
No, love the cast, love you all. I hope people are having fun.
Holding hands with you all on the froggy couch.
On the froggy couch for Louise. Mom. Yes. Use the kindness channels, please, because these next 8-9 days are going to be very difficult for everyone involved. So please use the kindness. It'll be the first things that they see on finale night when we crown a winner. We'll give them access to the server and they'll for sure get the kindness, and it'll be what we encourage them to go read first. So please go do that. But stick with us. If you haven't been sticking with us, stick with us now because the next 9 days are going to be crazy. So this is the time to tune in to BBH. Not the time to tune in because it's going to move quickly. So, but for me,
you can actually follow what's going on now because there's not as many.
Yeah, it's so easy to follow now. It's way easier than having fucking 18 people in 3 split houses and all that craziness. But for me, for Max, for Tay, we're peacing on out. Especially Max, it's midnight his time.
You can see me yawning this whole time.
Surprised you came on, honestly, considering how much you work. But for us, we're peacing out. We'll catch you in the Discord, and I'll be back probably Sunday morning at some point to recap the weekend. But bye, everyone.
Bye.